I was wearing sunglasses indoors when I finally understood. It was a Tuesday. I was at the grocery store. A cashier asked if I was okay. She'd seen the bruise around my eye before I could hide it. I smiled and said everything was fine. But in that moment, buying groceries and sunglasses in the middle of the day, I realized this wasn't fine. This was my life now. My name is Maria. I'm 41 years old. And this is the story of how I went from thinking I was being rescued to realizing I was being destroyed. And how it took 15 years, 3 children, and a head injury for me to find the courage to leave. I grew up with nothing. My parents worked in factories. We lived paycheck to paycheck. There were months when my mother chose between buying food or paying the electric bill. I learned early that money was survival, that having someone take care of you meant you were safe. So, when I met him at 23, when he started paying attention to me, I didn't question it. He was successful. Nice car. Expensive watches. Expensive everything. I was a receptionist making minimum wage. When he started leaving money on my desk for lunch, he'd say, I felt chosen. I felt safe. He asked me to quit my job after we married. He said there was no point in me working when he made enough for both of us. That I should focus on making our home beautiful, on being there when he came home. I quit. And that's when the cage started closing. The first time he hit me, I almost didn't recognize what was happening. I'd questioned a credit card charge, a dinner I didn't recognize, a boutique purchase. I asked him about it. He said it was none of my business. I said I was his wife. I should understand our finances. He looked at me like I'd betrayed him, like I'd done something unforgivable. Then he hit me. It wasn't dramatic. It was controlled. A slap across the face, hard enough to make my ears ring, hard enough to leave a mark. He said, don't ever question me again. Then he held me. He said he was sorry, that I'd pushed him to it, that I needed to be more trusting. The next morning, he bought me flowers and expensive jewelry. I told myself it was a mistake, that he loved me, that I'd provoked him. I had no job, no money, no one to talk to, and I was terrified. The financial control happened slowly. He gave me an allowance, a specific amount each week for groceries and household expenses. Nothing more. If I went over, there would be questions. Where did the money go? What did I buy? Why did I think I could just spend without permission? I started buying cheaper food, going without things I needed. When I asked him for money for new shoes, mine had holes in them, he said. Your shoes are fine. You're being wasteful. This is exactly why women shouldn't handle money. I wore those shoes for 6 months. He controlled everything. My access to money. My access to the car. My access to my own family. If I wanted to visit my mother, I had to ask. And often he'd say no. That he needed the car. That I was too focused on my family, not focused enough on him. I became isolated. My friends stopped calling. My family grew distant. It was just me and him. Then I got pregnant. When my first child was born, I thought things would change. I thought he'd be gentler. That he'd see the baby and suddenly become the man I thought I married. He wasn't. He resented the attention I gave our son. He resented that I was tired. He resented that I couldn't be ready for him whenever he wanted. He said, "You're not the woman I married." The hitting continued. But now he was strategic about it. Never on my face. Never anywhere that would show. Always telling me afterward that I'd made him do it. And I stayed. Because I had no money. No job. No way to survive with a newborn on my own. Because I was terrified. I had 2 more children. My second and third. With each child, I became more trapped. He started coming home with lipstick on his collar. Credit card receipts from hotels. Text messages I wasn't supposed to see. When I confronted him, he denied everything. He said I was crazy, that I was paranoid, that I was a bad wife, which is exactly why he had to go elsewhere. It was my fault. Everything was always my fault. And the worst part was, I believed him. The hitting got harder. The financial control got tighter. The isolation got deeper. He'd disappear for nights and tell me nothing. He'd take money out of accounts I didn't even know we had. He'd come home smelling like someone else and tell me I was imagining it. I said nothing. Because 3 children depended on me. Because I had no money. Because I was so afraid. When my oldest was 12 years old, he started asking questions. He'd see me flinching when his father came home. He'd notice the way I held my arm. He said, "Mom, is Dad hurting you?" I lied to my own son. I told him everything was fine. That his father loved us. That this was normal. I was teaching my son that this was normal. I was teaching my daughter that this was what love looked like. That realization broke me. But not enough to leave. Because the fear was bigger than the pain. The night that changed everything was like any other night at first. He came home late. He was angry about something. I never found out what. He said I'd embarrassed him. That I'd made him look bad. That I wasn't a real wife, just a burden he carried. I apologized. I'd learned that apologies sometimes made the anger stop. They didn't work that night. He pushed me. Not a gentle push. A hard shove. I lost my balance and fell. My head hit the corner of the table. There was blood. So much blood. For a moment, I think I lost consciousness. When I came to, he was standing over me. His face had changed. He was scared. He helped me up. He took me to the bathroom and cleaned my wound carefully, gently. Like he was handling something precious. He said, "I love you. I would never hurt you. But you have to stop making me so angry." Then he leaned in close and said, "If you tell anyone about this, I will take the children. I will tell the court you're an unfit mother. I will make sure you never see them again. Do you understand?" I understood. I got stitches. The doctor asked how I got the injury. I said I fell. She looked at me. She knew. But I didn't tell. Because the threat of losing my children was more powerful than the pain of staying. A week later, my youngest came home from school. She was 8 years old. She looked at me and said, "Dad hit you again, didn't he?" 8 years old. And she knew. My children knew what was happening. They saw it. They felt it. And they were becoming numb to it, the way I had. I realized in that moment that I wasn't protecting them by staying. I was destroying them. I left the next morning. I took nothing but the clothes on my back and my 3 children. I had no money, no job, no plan, just fear and desperation. I went to a women's shelter. That first night, I sat in a small room with my children and realized I'd just become homeless. I'd just become a single mother with 0 income, 0 savings, 0 support. But my children were safe. The shelter helped me get legal aid. They helped me understand my rights. They helped me file for divorce. He fought it. He said I was taking his children. He said I was crazy. He said I was a terrible mother trying to alienate him from our kids. But the bruises told a story. The medical records told a story. My children's therapy sessions told a story. I'm 41 now, 3 years after the divorce was finalized. I work 2 jobs. I still struggle with money. Some months are harder than others. But I'm independent. My children are in therapy. They're healing. They're learning that what they witnessed wasn't normal. They're learning that love doesn't hurt. I'm in therapy too. I'm learning who I am. Not the woman my husband shaped me into. Not the woman he told me I was. Just me. Maria. A woman from nothing who almost lost everything before she found the courage to walk away. People ask me why I stayed so long. They say, "Why didn't you just leave?" Like it's simple. Like fear doesn't paralyze you. Like poverty isn't a weapon. Like the threat of losing your children isn't the most powerful thing in the world. I stayed because I had no money and he controlled it all. I stayed because I was isolated and didn't know where to go. I stayed because I had 3 children who depended on me. I stayed because he told me I was worthless, and I believed him. I stayed because the system seems designed to keep women like me trapped. I stayed for 15 years. But I left. I left with nothing but my children and the clothes on our backs. I rebuilt from 0. I got a job. Then a second job. I got my children into school. I rebuilt my relationship with my family. I'm not rich. I'm not healed. I carry the trauma of those 15 years. But I'm free. And my children are safe. The hardest part wasn't the abuse itself. It was forgiving myself for staying, for the years I lost, for the way I modeled acceptance of abuse to my children, for the way I let fear control me for so long. But I'm learning something. I did the best I could with what I had. When you have no money, no job, and 3 children, leaving is terrifying. Staying is also terrifying. You're trapped either way. What matters is that I eventually chose. If you're in a situation like mine, I want you to know something. It's not your fault. The abuse is not because you're not good enough. It's not because you provoked it. It's because he chose to hurt you. There is help. There are shelters. There are lawyers who work for free. There are people who understand what it's like. You don't have to do it alone. I wish I'd known that sooner.